Hey everyone, this is Derrick Broze of the Conscious Resistance Network, and today we are going to continue our discussion on the outcome, the blowback from the fight against COVID-19. Specifically, we're going to talk about immunity passports and how the traveler experience in the airport is changing, and whether or not you guys believe you will continue to fly. Many of us have already felt very invaded by the actions of the TSA, taking off our shoes, patting us down, or going through the body scanner since the days of the September 11th attacks in 2001. But now it seems like it's only going to get more invasive as we move past COVID-19 into COVID-1984. But before we discuss all that, I want to remind you guys to bookmark theconsciousresistance.com, which is our home for all of our content, where you can find everything that we do, books to download, documentaries to watch for free, articles, essays, videos, interviews, reports, podcasts, conscious music, and of course you can support us by buying some shirts. You can also follow us at Minds, at Hive, join our Discord channel, sign up for my text list, guys. I highly recommend signing up for the text list more than anything. This is where you're going to get all my information directly to your phone. Join us on Float and BitChute, and if you want to support, do so at patreon.com/Derrick Broze. All right, guys, so this is my latest article for The Last American Vagabond. As you guys know, I've been doing lots of articles, including this one right here that you'll see, my Bill Gates series. We're going to cover that in another video. But this new one, your immunity passport future begins to materialize as airlines call for digital ID tracking systems. I just put this together yesterday. The world's largest airline trade group has called for immunity passports, thermal screening, masks, and physical distancing. All of that together to be a part of the industry strategy for returning to, quote, normal operations. The International Air Transport Association, which represents 299 airlines, recently issued their publication, Biosecurity for Air Transport, a roadmap for restarting aviation, which outlines their strategy to open up air travel as governments begin to lift travel restrictions. Under a section titled The Passenger Experience and Temporary Biosecurity Measures, the IATA describes their vision, and they call for contact tracing, where they say, quote, we foresee the need to collect more detailed passenger contact information which can be used for tracing purposes. Where possible, the data should be collected in electronic form in advance of the passenger arriving at the airport, including through e-visa and electronic travel authorization platforms. Now, as I mentioned in here, this talk of electronic travel authorization platforms, it seems to coincide with the release of two new brands of this, which can store your biometrics, travel, health, and identification data. One of them is called the COVID Pass, the world's most secure digital health passport built on patented technology. And it involves biometrics, it involves a digital ID, sort of a digital wallet with all of your information on it. You can find out more at covidpass.com. There's some examples of it, and they discuss it on here. And then also, some of you know the company Clear, who has already been at the airports for years and allowing people who want to pay a little bit extra, and I guess they're due biometrics, you can skip the line at the airport and get ahead. Well, now Clear is offering the Health Pass. Will give employees and consumers the confidence and peace of mind to get back to work, shop at their favorite store, step into a restaurant, and attend a ball game. For over 10 years, Clear has been the trusted industry leader for biometric identity and access. Now, no matter where you go, Clear's established platform can make everyday experiences easier and safer for everyone. So they don't want this to just be at the airport as far as Clear is concerned. They want this to be like a health pass that you use everywhere. You verify your identity with biometrics, you complete a real-time health quiz and upload your lab results to the provider, scan your QR code and check your temperature. Then, once they verify your health and identity with your face or QR code, the venue can decide whether you get to enter. So, they have bigger plans as far as that goes. So, back to the IATA and their recommendations. Alexandre de Juniac, who's the CEO, said that, quote, a layered approach combining multiple measures which are, quote, globally implemented and mutually recognized by governments are, quote, the way forward for biosecurity. They also call for temperature screening at entry points to airport terminals. They envision the airline experience involving physical distancing of 3 to 6 feet, and that airports should have to kind of change their buildings to allow for physical distancing. And they also called for face coverings for passengers and protective equipment for airline and airport staff. They also acknowledge that there is not currently a fast and reliable test for COVID-19, but they say that once one is developed, it should be applied to entry to the terminal. So they envision you having to get a test just to get in the door. And they call for this measure to, quote, be incorporated into the passenger process as soon as an effective test validated by the medical community has been developed. And then you have immunity passports, which has been discussed by Anthony Fauci, the World Health Organization, and Bill Gates. The IATA states that immunity passports could play an important role in further facilitating the restart of air travel, and they believe it is essential that a recognized global standard be introduced and corresponding documents be made available electronically. Finally, they believe that this is a general move towards greater use of touchless technology, and biometrics should also be pursued. And of course, biometrics would include facial recognition, retina scanning, and or thumbprints. Now, finally, this vision painted by the IATA is one where those of us who choose to fly are faced with invasive security measures, surveillance, biometric tracking, immunity passports, temperature screenings, and generally less human contact due to physical distancing and less communication with actual people. Of course, this push towards a digital ID, which contains an individual's personal identifying information, health records, and other personal data, is part of an agenda which predates COVID-19. The powers that wish they were are taking every opportunity to expand their technocratic control grid, and the panic caused by COVID-19 allows them to accelerate their plans at a rate not seen since the days after the attacks of 9/11. The only thing stopping the rollout is the people of the world coming together and informing those who are in the dark and unplugging from this control grid as soon as possible. And so that's what's going on, guys. And I want to put this into context with you. We're right here in May. Just a few weeks back, the TSA, it was announced the TSA is working to start checking temperatures at some American airports. They said 3 airports to start, and let me see if they have the list of 3 airports in here. They said they were going to start with 3 airports, and eventually, obviously, this will expand. Starting June 1st, any individual with a temperature exceeding 100 degrees Fahrenheit will be denied boarding, according to Frontier Airlines. So what you're getting here is this is the TSA, which is a branch of the Department of Homeland Security, which is part of the U.S. federal government, talking about doing temperature screening at more of the airports when they're already doing, checking people and going through your bags and stuff like that. Then you've got the IATA, which represents 299 airlines, including those in the U.S. and those in Mexico even, and many around the world, calling for contact tracing, immunity passports, masks, and other invasive things like that. You've also got the development of the COVID Pass and Clear's Health Pass taking place at the same time, not to mention ID 2020, which we talked about last year. For those of you who are not aware, go to our website, search ID 2020, and you can see that we've been covering this for quite some time. In fact, probably sooner than many people realize what was going on, we've been talking about it. The global crackdown on vaccine hesitancy and ID 2020. We talked about this. Let's see how far back this was. This was back in, so just over a year, it seems, November 2019. So yeah, back in November, I was bringing up vaccine the ID 2020, and of course we know about Gavi. A lot of these things are funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, as are the vaccines, as are the efforts to combat disinformation. And as I said in my recent Bill Gates investigation, he's also funding 5G, geoengineering, Monsanto, pesticides, and many other things. So that man is calling for immunity passports. Now the World Health Organization is calling for it. Now the airlines are calling for it. Soon the people will be calling for it and cheering it on, because our digital ID tracking immunity passport future is now coming into view. And so you're going to have both the federal government checking temperatures, you're going to have the airlines calling for their own checking of temperatures and passports. You got individual private companies trying to cash in on this and make products that they can sell and market as part of the technocracy. I mean, it's all coming together, guys, and I've tried to just, sound the alarm bells, and there's still people who think I'm crazy on social media, but I don't really care anymore. It's becoming so clear. So if you see what's happening, it's important more than ever to spread this information, to talk to your family and friends, help them see that the technocratic control grid, the technocratic state is being erected right now. And if we allow our fear of COVID-19, or even not your fear, but there are people who say, I'm not afraid, I'm just compassionate, I care about other people, and I don't want to get other people sick. So they're willing to accept some of these egregious violations of liberty, or they don't even see them as violations, because it's like, oh, well, it's just a minor temporary inconvenience, and that's the key word. Are these things really temporary? History would say not. The governments and the people that wish they were the true powers, the people who pretend to be the power at the top of the pyramid, they use crises as a way to grab more power, as they have with 9/11 and every single crisis since then and every single crisis preceding that. And COVID-19 is no different. They're doing the exact same thing. They're grabbing as much power as possible. And these safety health measures are all a part of getting into our lives and never getting out, so that then they can control us, they can manipulate us, and if need be, they can lock us out. That's where this is really going. A social credit score, and those who do not submit will be locked out of society. I believe the answer is to form freedom cells, as you can see here, freedomcells.org, and to start getting organized locally in a decentralized way around the world to build the next stage of humanity. If you believe in that, please visit freedomcells.org. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, follow, share. Till next time, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free. Peace.